In today's video, I'm going to be going over how I managed to generate over $100,000 in my first year self-publishing on Amazon KDP and on Audible ACX. What is going on, guys? My name is Dane. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. On this channel, I talk all about self-publishing, online entrepreneurship, and just lifestyle in general. So if that kind of thing interests you, make sure you hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you know when I post new videos, and hit the like button to help the channel so more people like you start to see my videos. So now that that's out of the way, I'm sure you already saw the intro, but in today's video, I'm going to be going over my first year self-publishing books through Amazon KDP and on Audible ACX, okay? And I've published books on other platforms, but in today's video, the income and all the stuff I'm going to be talking about is solely based off of KDP and ACX, okay? So audiobooks, paperback books, and ebooks. So that's today's video. Tons of people have been asking me for this in the Facebook group, in my free online course about publishing, which is in the description if you want to join it. So I thought I would make a video about it. I have some slides here that kind of outlines the whole story. The main things I'm going to be going over in this video are going to be my earnings throughout the first year, things that I probably shouldn't have done, some mistakes that I learned from, and some of the good things that I did, okay? And also me talking about how I learned about publishing briefly at the beginning. All right, so hopefully that interests you. If it does, let's jump into my computer and get into the video. Okay, so now that we're in my computer, you can see on the screen here, it says My First Year Self-Publishing by Dane McBeth, I guess. Very dramatic, and yeah, 12 months. So let's jump into it. So the objectives for this video, I guess you could call it, are briefly discuss how I got started self-publishing books in the first place. Then I'm going to outline my first year's worth of earnings. And then we're going to discover what I did wrong along the way, and then we'll discover the big difference makers that I did and incorporate it into the business that made all the difference for me personally, okay? So first things first, how I got started. Let's briefly go through this just so you guys know, just so you're aware of how I learned about self-publishing and how I got into the business model. So back in April of 2019, so well over a year now, I was introduced to the Mickelson twins, who you can see on the screen here. There's two pictures of them. And I was their videographer and photographer for the following 5 months. So from April to the end of July, I guess, beginning of August, I was their videographer, photographer for their YouTube channel, as they also talked about self-publishing on their YouTube channel, and I was doing their photography for their Instagram. So these two photos are photos that I took of them actually in Bali, which is where I lived with them for about 3 months, I guess, from April to the middle of June. And yeah, we lived in, on the right, you can see, we got Stevie, which is their dog from Bali. That's our villa we stayed in. And on the left is Ritual, and it's a cafe in Bali. And this is where the twins would work on publishing and their online course as well. And you can see Stevie at the bottom there. So good memories, good times, and they were into publishing. So this is when I first learned about publishing. And eventually they introduced me to the business model, and I was instantly intrigued. And this was because it was different from any other online business that I've ever tried before. And that really excited me. And since everything else seemed so saturated, so like at the time, all I was really aware of was Amazon FBA, drop shipping, affiliate marketing, social media marketing, all those like online kind of businesses. I was aware of those, but I personally felt like they were super saturated, and I tried them all and I just never had success. So when I heard about publishing, it seemed different to me, and it seemed like something that I could do and something that I would enjoy doing. And that's why it excited me. And fast forward to August of 2019. So when I went back home here to Canada, I had two of my first ever long form books ready to be published onto KDP. So rewind back to around June. That's when I first placed my order for my first two long form books, which are basically 30,000 word ghost written books. They got written, and then when I got home in August, near the end of August, I had them ready to go to be published on the KDP, which is Amazon, at the start of September. So I was also creating DIY books during this time, which are shorter 7K to 10K word books that you can write yourself. So during the time that my long form ones were being written, I was also writing some DIY style books in the meantime. So I had about, I guess, 6 or 7 books that I was creating. Like I had about 5 or 6 DIY books that I was making, then add on to the 2 long form ones that I ordered. So I was going all in. For lack of better words, I was all in with this business model, and I was really excited about it. So I wanted to be Basically just invest what I had into the business because I saw the twins. I saw that it worked for them firsthand. So that was obviously important to me. Firsthand, I saw it working for someone else. So I had belief that I could do it myself as well. Now let's go over some of the initial investments that I made to get started with the business model, because I know a lot of people ask me this. They're wondering how much money I put in at the beginning in order to make what I did coming over the next few months. But so let's go into the initial investments. So I invested $1,400 US into the writing of my first two 30K word books. Okay, so typically a 30K word book, $700 to $1,000. And I had the same ghostwriter write both of them, so he gave me a deal of $1,400 to get them both written. I wrote my first 6 DIY style books myself, so as I just explained, so that was free. And I also put 2 of these DIY style books and 1 of my 30K word books onto Audible. So I had someone narrate them and put them onto Audible through ACX, which costed me around $400. Okay, so those are some of my book costs from the beginning. But during my first 4 months on the road to my first 10K month in December, which was coming up, and I obviously had no idea, I spent these amounts on ads. Okay, so let's go over some of the money that I spent on advertising. So in September, my first month, I had 2 books live. During this month, I spent $500 on ads. In October of 2019, I put $643 into ads, and keep in mind these are all USD. These are all US dollars. November, I put $704, and then in December, obviously the bigger month, I spent $3,162 on advertising. And these are Amazon ads. Okay, so and then you look at this. This is my Amazon KDP royalties for my first 4 months, which were around $9,868. Okay, so that's coming from September all the way to the end of 2019 so August 30 or December 31st. Okay. My total ACX earnings from the first 4 months were these screenshots right here. So in September, I made $442, October, $1,225, November, $1,933, and December, $3,606. So those are my first 4 months on ACX with my audiobooks. So KDP is paperbacks and ebooks. ACX means that they were audiobooks. Okay, so that's how much I managed to generate over those first 4 months on KDP. I'll be going over my 2020 year after this, so don't worry, but this is just my first 4 months because I know that a lot of people want to know what their first 3 or 4 months will be like when they jump into a business model. So this was mine last year. Obviously, given I started in Q4, which was literally right now, it helped a lot, and you can see it proved to be pretty good for me, good timing to get started with the business. So obviously, if you're new to it right now and you're looking to get started, there's no better time to start than right now, because this is exactly the same time when I started publishing on KDP and ACX. So my total ad spend during my first 4 months was $5,016, all total costs. So with my ad spend, so the number up top, plus all my writing, covers, editing, all that stuff, $7,116. My KDP income during the first 4 months was $9,868. ACX income during the first 4 months, $7,206. Income during these first 4 months for KDP and ACX combined was $17,074. Total profit during the first 4 months publishing books on Amazon, KDP, and Audible ACX was $9,958. And obviously a big chunk of that came from December, but just keep in mind, I only had like 6 or 7 books at this time, and that's what I managed to earn over that first 4 months. So that's a pretty good chunk starting out with any business model. And no, those aren't sales, that is profits. So I want to be like 100% transparent with you guys. I'm not just going to lie to you and tell you my sales numbers, because that just means absolutely nothing. What matters are my profits, and bottom right there are the profits that I made in the first 4 months publishing on KDP and ACX. And during December, obviously is a big month in sales. In December, I made 10,000 plus. If you add together my royalties from KDP and my royalties from ACX in Canadian, it's over $10,000. So again, that was my first 10K month. This 9,958 bottom right in Canadian is more so like 13 to 14,000 Canadian, or sorry, 9,958 is in USD down there. In Canadian, it's like 14,000. So pretty good for my first 4 months starting with a business model, and pretty good numbers. I mean, lots of people aren't going to tell you these kind of things. Again, they're going to show you their sales. So I want to make sure that I'm just being transparent with you guys and give you guys a actual idea of what is possible. Okay. If someone shows you they made like 70 grand in their first 4 months publishing, I don't know about that. Okay. This is probably a little bit more real, especially if you're just starting out. Like this year, for example, going into Q4, I actually do plan on making $20,000 to $30,000 profit. Okay. Because I know what I'm doing and I know what I want to put my money into. And I'm not brand new to the whole business model. But last year when I was brand new, that kind of number it just seemed insane to me, but I actually made it. And I was testing books. I didn't know what I was what I should put my money into, how much I should spend on ads. There's a bunch of things that I was unsure about. So this year I'm sure about a lot of things and I know what I'm doing and I can put my money into the books that I know will make me a lot of money. So I'm doing that this year and I plan on making $20,000 to $30,000. Okay. But last year when I'm starting out, that's more realistic because you're testing things out. You're not 100% sure of what you're doing yet. Okay. So let's move on. So let's get into my total earnings for year one now. So you're aware of how much I made in the first 4 months, September to December of 2019 when I first started publishing. Let's go over 2020, how 2020's gone. And I guess it's August. Well, it's September now and I started last August. So it's been 1 year since I started. And let's just go over what I've made during this year so far. So before I get into all these numbers, again, remember this, I'm being 100% transparent with you on all these numbers. Okay. Most people won't do this, but I want to be 100% open with you. This is exactly what my first year looked like. And most people who make money online won't go anywhere near what I'm about to show you. I'm going to show you my earnings, my costs, my profits, and not just my sales numbers. So I already mentioned sales numbers. They don't mean much at all. What matters is how much I actually earn and how much I make off of profits from the business model. If I went by sales numbers, it would seem like way more than it actually is. And my goal is to be 100% transparent with you and give you an exact idea for what I made during my first year. Okay. So by no means am I trying to sell you the dream here. Okay. This is not what I'm doing. I'm not trying to give you false hope or anything like that. I'm showing to you that it's entirely possible to make a full-time income and beyond with publishing books. Okay. So not only can you make a full-time income working by yourself, publishing books, you can make way more than the average job as well. Okay. Just depends how much time, resources, and effort you want to put into the business model, of course, but that goes for anything in life. So instead of having to work for a boss, commute to work every single day and have no freedom whatsoever, publishing allows me personally to work when I want, how I want, where I want, and as much or less as I want every single day. Okay. So to me, that freedom aspect and being able to do what I want and work when I want and not have to adhere to a job and my boss and all that kind of thing, that matters most to me personally. And that's what publishing allows me to do every single day. And for that simple reason alone, that should excite you about the publishing business model, because I know lots of people, even if they can make like say 70 or 80% of the money they're making now, but be free from their 9-to-5 job, that's what should matter the most. And personally, I think that's the biggest thing that I enjoy the most about publishing. Okay. So most people will show you their sales numbers and give you a false idea of the potential income you can make with this kind of business model. I'm not doing this. I promise you. Okay. I'm giving you the exact numbers so you have a 100% clear idea of what a real online business model like this has the potential for. And now that's out of the way, let's get into the numbers. Okay. So now there's a lot of talking, but I wanted to make sure that was clear so you guys know. I don't want to be like someone that's just flaunting numbers all the time. I want to give you guys an idea of what's possible with publishing. Okay. Because I'm a firm believer in publishing and how it worked for me. And I just want to make sure you guys feel the same way. So 2020 ACX income so far has been $29,561. Okay. So here's all the screenshots just so you guys know, like I'm not lying about this. There's January, February, and the numbers are bottom right. I'm not going to go through them very slow, okay? I want to make sure I just go through this so you guys can see them so you know I'm not lying about this. February, March, April. April was when the pandemic happened, and I noticed a big trend with my, in particular, kids' books. Parents were buying books for their kids. They were out of school, especially on ACX. I had like 3 that just were killing it during this time because I guess parents liked these digital or the audio format of these books, and you can see it really showed. And that was obviously from my March sales because you get paid 1 month later for ACX. Go to May, you can see it dropped off 2,000. June, slower again, 1,600. July, 1,800. So last month. Okay, those are all my numbers from ACX during my year in 2020. Total year one income is $36,000. So if we add together those first 4 months, $36,767 is the first year income on ACX, okay? And that's royalties, that is not sales. If I did sales from ACX, I don't even, like, we make around 40% of the actual price of an audiobook, and most of my books are $15. I'm not even gonna get into that math. I'm not good at math, but it'd be way more than that. But you can see that's the royalties are $36,767. Year one KDP income in royalties is $50,109. So that you can see top left, April 2019 to August 2020. So April 2019 is when I opened the account. So that's why it says that. But I didn't really start publishing until like the end of August, September area. So August 2019 to 2020, $50,109 in royalties, not sales. Okay, that is royalties. First year total income, ACX and KDP, $86,876 USD. Okay, if you would have told me I was going to make that 1 year ago, I would have laughed in your face and I would have not believed a single word that you said to me. Okay, that is a lot of money in my eyes, even now. But back then, like seeing that number, and if you told me that's what I was going to make my first year publishing on KDP and ACX, I would have just been blown away. I would not have believed a single word you're saying. It surprises me seeing that. And I know it's not a huge chunk compared to most people who are like selling programs and courses and stuff. But if they were to break down the numbers for you and show you their actual profits, a lot of them wouldn't be as much as that. They'd be around that. Okay. A lot of them are going to say they have more than that. And I'm not hating on them. I'm just saying I like to be transparent here. I like to be 100% honest with my numbers. And those are my royalties. Those aren't sales. Okay. So those are my royalties off of all my books, year one, August 2019 to August 2020. Okay. Those are my numbers. In Canadian, that is $113,353,000. Okay. That's insane. If I compare that to my day job that I used to work, I used to make around $2,000 to like $2,500 on a good month Canadian per month. So in US, that's like $1,700 per month. Like I guess yearly, that's like not even 20 grand. So looking at this, in 1 year, I made that off of publishing books. I hate using this word, but that's astonishing for me. Okay. I would have never believed that was possible. And if you told me that again back in like last year, I would have laughed at you. That wouldn't have made sense to me. So for me to make that in my first year publishing, I feel good about it and I'm excited to see what is to come. Okay. So total expenses from year one. So ads, books, promotions and stuff were roughly 50K Canadian. So year one actual profits. So actual money I took home. So you can see the 113 is my royalties. That's before my ads and stuff. That's not my sales numbers though. If I told you my sales numbers on top of that 113, it'd be way more. It looked like I was making way more money than I am. Those are my royalties. That's what I make off of each book sale. And then after I take away like my costs for ads every single month, all my book, my writing, my narrating, promoting, 63 CAD is what I'm left over with, which is still 40,000 plus more than I would have made in 1 year of my day job last year. Okay. And that's my first year publishing. That's 1 year publishing. At the beginning, there were some rough patches, especially after Q4 during January and February. I almost gave up. So like I was spending not very much money. I didn't have very much money coming in, as you can see from like the Audible screenshots and stuff, but I stuck with it. And moving into April, now in August, and now we're going back into my second Q4 here. I'm glad that I've stuck with it because I know that this year alone, in Q4, I can probably make half of that profit because I know what I'm doing and I know what to put into the business and I know where to spend my money and not where to spend my money this time. So I'm super excited to get into Q4 this year, but just seeing that for my first year profit, it's very motivating and it's nice to just see it on the screen because I've put a lot of work into it and I'm just happy that it's there. So that's year one. Those are my numbers. Let's continue through the video, okay? So how long it took me to see my first profits? Short answer is 2 months. Lots of people like to know this answer because they want to know when they're starting publishing. They want to know how long it's going to take before they can see their first profits from their initial investment. And for me, my short answer is 2 months. That was for me personally, okay? It could be different for you, but that's what it took me. KDP doesn't pay for 60 days after a given sales period, and ACX is 30 days. So if I earn money, if I earn royalties off of a book sale in September, I'm not going to be paid for those until the end of November, okay, on KDP. ACX is 30 days, so September I get paid at the end of October. If we go by the first 4 months income, I was eventually paid for all of that. So last year at the end of February 2020, because again, December, 2 months later at the end of February, that's when I got paid for December. My first profits, though, were earned by the time I was paid for September and October. So KDP royalties and ACX royalties at the end of November. So that's when I made my money back and I actually made some profit. And I started to see that publishing was for me and I could actually stick to this and I can actually make money off of it. Okay, so now I'm gonna go over the two last parts of this video. And I know it's getting longer, but I think this video deserves to be long. This is my first year publishing. So first, I'm gonna go over the mistakes that I made along the way publishing books, and then I'll go over the good things that I did and the good decisions I made publishing books, okay? So let's talk about the mistakes I made so you don't make them yourself, okay? First thing first, I tested out too many keywords in the beginning and should have stuck with only a few, okay? So this caused me to waste money on ads and time trying to find keywords / niches that work for me. So basically, I kind of spread myself thin at the beginning. I tried a bunch of different keywords, especially with the DIY books, and I should have just stuck to a couple of them, and that would have made me more money and saved me a lot of time, and I could have put more time into the similar books to those keywords. Instead, I had like keywords over here, keywords over here, keywords over here. They weren't related at all, so it didn't allow me to really deep dive into a niche and stick with it. So that's just one thing. Another thing is that I didn't focus on Amazon ads enough right out of the gate. So I wasn't aware of how important they are for KDP business. And obviously this is something that is probably normal for most people who are starting out. They don't really want to drop a ton of money into their ads if they don't know they're going to work out. But now that I know how well Amazon ads work for book sales and all that good stuff, I know how much I can spend on a month if I want to make that much money back. But in the beginning, I wasn't sure, so I wasn't putting enough money into them. And most people rely too heavily on organic ranking as well, which is okay, I guess. But to get your book ranking and generate initial sales, you got to be fearless with your Amazon ads. You got to be willing to lose some money up front in order to make money in the long run. That's just basic business terms, but that's just what I've learned, especially with Amazon ads. That is a key player, okay? Spending more on Amazon ads thinking it meant I would get more sales. So once I figured this out and I was like, okay, I got to spend more money, I kind of went overboard, spent too much money. So I thought it would make me more sales, but in the reality of things, optimizing and upping the quality of your books is how you do this, okay? Not simply by raising your bids and your campaigns. So if you have terrible quality books, books are the foundation of everything with your ads and your KDP business. If the books suck, you're not gonna make any sales. The foundation of good sales and good results from your Amazon ads is having good quality books, covers, book descriptions, manuscripts, good reviews, okay? That's what's gonna get you the sales at the beginning, not just raising your bids and spending more on your ads. This is a recipe for losing money fast, okay? So another mistake that I made was focusing on quantity over quality. That should say quality. I put quantity over quantity there. It should say quantity over quality, okay? After my first Q4, so last December, I was pumped that a few of my books actually did well and I made some money off of publishing. And again, it opened my eyes to the possibilities that publishing has. And I tried making a ton of similar books to the ones that stuck right away. And inevitably, the quality of these books that I tried to make really fast in like December and February, again, like I said, February and January were tougher months for me. I didn't make as much money as I wanted to, especially compared to Q4. Things just dipped and I lost confidence. And this was one of the main reasons, because I pumped out a bunch of books that were just lower quality and they weren't very good quality. And again, quality is the number one thing. That's the foundation of getting sales and making money with publishing. And if you don't focus on it, then what happened to me might happen to you, okay? So another thing was being unorganized. It nearly killed the business. You got to be organized with any business. And in the beginning, everything was everywhere. I was making books here. I was talking to freelancers here, and just nothing was organized and put into one place. And I didn't realize how important it was to keep track of all the moving pieces. But now I do. Obviously, I realize how important it is. I use Google Sheets and I use like Trello, and I use all the Google apps like Google Keep and Google Docs to keep track of everything. Before this, I wasn't doing this. I've also hired an accountant to do all my finances and all that stuff. So it's a little more organized now, but in the beginning it wasn't. So that's something that you should take into consideration if you're looking to get into an online business in general, I guess. So those are mistakes. Last part of this video, let's go over the difference making decisions that I made that made positive effects, that had positive effects over my first year publishing books. So first thing was that I always reinvested the majority of my monthly earnings back into the business, okay? I made sure that I was disciplined and I put the money back into the business so I can make more money out of the business. When I first generated $10,000 in a single month back in December, like I said, I remember wanting so badly to take those earnings and spend them on like personal things that wouldn't really matter in the future. But I remember it was the first time I made that much money in 1 month, and I wanted to spend them on other things. So, however, I held back and I reinvested what I made into the business. I stayed disciplined and I made sure that I didn't spend all that money on stupid, pointless things. I put the money back into the business so I could grow it even further. And think about where I'd be now, like if I would have spent all that money, and how much differently my first year would have panned out. Okay, so you got to think long term again with publishing. It's a long term business. You're not going to make money overnight with it. It's not going to make you a millionaire overnight. Okay, it can make you a millionaire if you do the right things, but personally, if you treat publishing like a short-term business, it's just not going to work out. Okay, it's a long-term business, and that's honestly any business. Anyone tells you can make money overnight, like insane amounts, chances are it's not true. Okay, publishing is absolutely no excuse from that. It is something you got to be long-term thinking with. Okay. And funny enough, the next part is thinking long-term, not short-term, okay? So most people will want to make a quick buck, like I just said, and publishing books is a long-term game, okay? Fast forward to now, I've made around 60K profit and plan on making upwards of 20K to 30K profit during this upcoming Q4 alone, like I said before, okay? So I know what to do now. I know what not to do. I've made the mistakes, and obviously I have tons to learn and I have tons more mistakes to make. But right now, I'm confident that I can do that for this upcoming Q4. I know what to do and I know where to put my money, okay? In the grand scheme of things, 1 year is very short, okay? If you think long-term again, 1 year publishing books is very short. And for the amount I've made so far, I'm happy with that. I can live with that. 60K profit, that's good. But I want to make sure that this year I take that to the next level and keep on expanding. And it's only been 1 year and I'm already there, okay? There's no reason that someone like yourself or anyone else can't do that as well, okay? You shouldn't expect to make these kinds of profits with almost any other business, okay? In terms of other online businesses, when you start them out, like most of them, you're gonna lose money with in the first year. So for the fact that I made 60K profit in the first year with publishing is pretty good. 90% of the time, you're not gonna make profit in the first year, okay? So that's just an idea. Publishing is obviously pretty powerful given that I made that much in the first year. And I know you can make tons of money in other businesses, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, most people aren't going to see success in their first year, okay? Another thing I want to talk about is being consistent with my work. This is one of the major keys to getting the results that I did. Okay, so I can probably only count on my hands, like under 10 of the days that I've actually taken off from publishing over the past year. Okay, I've gone all in. I've been consistent with this business model. I've done little things every single day. I choose to put a little bit of work into it every day, and over time that adds up to a lot, and I think it's paid off so far. Okay, consistency is key. It's crucial if you want to be successful with a business model. You can't just put a bunch of work into it 1 month and then hope that it works for the next year. Okay, you got to be consistent with things and keep pushing. Another thing is that I outsource jobs to professionals. So some positions I've outsourced consist of Amazon ads, bookkeeper, accountant, I mentioned that already, low content book creators, cover designers, editors, proofreaders, creative writers, and copywriters, okay? Those are all outsourced jobs that I've outsourced to professionals that are better at those jobs than I am. So that's one of the major keys that I think has contributed to my business doing well. I've outsourced certain jobs that are to people who are better at those jobs than me, and they do a better job, and that just brings in more money for me. So obviously the cost of that person is negligible at that point because they're doing the job better than me. They're making me more money with that job, okay? I've invested in Amazon ads, like I talked about. So most people are scared to spend their money, but Amazon ads are key. What are they key for? Is ranking your book at your launch and generating additional sales on top of your organic sales. So you can't just rely on organic sales for the most part. Amazon ads are going to be a major contributor to your publishing business. I also created ecosystems and brands, and this has been one of the most crucial things. And the income that I've made from these, it does contribute to the books, but there is additional income streams that it contributes to as well. But it consists of things like branding, making series out of books, incorporating an email list, making funnels, opt-ins to get people into my ecosystem, making automations in my emails, having Facebook pages, Facebook groups, having a website. There's tons of things that you can add on to your publishing business to make you way more money. Okay, so the numbers I'm talking about here, the 60K, that's just from publishing. Okay, there's so much more money you can make from having an ecosystem, like I call it. What consists of your email automations, your email list, your Facebook pages, Facebook group, your website. There's tons of different things you can incorporate into this business and tack onto it that really make it kill. That will really make you absolutely kill it, okay? And if you want to learn more about that, I am creating a program that is going to be a paid program that teaches all about these advanced tactics, like creating online ecosystems for your publishing business, Facebook groups, websites, email automations, all that stuff. There's a waiting list down below if you want to join it, so you get notified when it comes out later this month. Okay. I don't want to sell you on that though too much. This is just a video. Another thing that I like to contribute to my first year being decent is my launch strategy, and I've perfected that by now. I know what to do when it comes to launching a book, and I just call it a 4-stage power launch, and basically it consists of initial review boosts, book promotion services, Facebook group utilization, etc., email list stuff. Okay, there's a bunch of stuff that goes into it, but that's what makes a powerful launch. And again, I teach that in the advanced course. Last slide. Okay, I know it's getting long, but I have 2 more things I want to talk about, which was diversifying right away. So basically I turned my books into audiobooks via ACX, and I also distributed my books wide via Ingram Spark. And these basically made additional income streams to KDP for income for me. And I didn't talk about my Ingram Spark income for the first year. All I talked about was ACX and KDP. But generally speaking, Ingram Spark, I usually make like $200 to $500 per month off of that. So tack that on to what I've made. It's a decent amount, right? It's not a whole lot. It's not life-changing, but it is good to see extra money coming in for something that I don't really even touch. Finally, I put tons of money in time into testing what creates top-tier, high-quality books. And like I said, having top-tier, high-quality books is the foundation of your entire publishing business. If your books suck, you're not going to make any sales. You have to have good books, and they build off that foundation, and that's what's going to get you sales. That's what's going to make the big difference for you, is having those high quality books. It all stems from them. Okay. So having good things like covers, titles, descriptions, keywords, selling tactics, organization, all these things compiled together is what makes up a top tier, high quality foundation of books. And that's what's going to get you the most sales in the long run. And again, that's taught in the advanced course, which has the launch list down below if you want to join that. Okay. So that is it for this video. That is my first year self-publishing on Amazon and ACX. That is how I made over $100,000 Canadian in the first year, $60,000 profit. And no, those aren't sales numbers. That is what I've made. That's what's in my pocket. That's what I can put back into the business and keep reinvesting it and growing it. And like I said, Q4 this year, I'm looking to get 20 to 30K profit out of Q4 this year, because again, I've tested things, I have things in place, and I'm ready to go. Okay, so I'm excited for that. But that is my first year self-publishing. That is the opportunity that self-publishing is. That's the kind of money you can make off it in your first year if you do. I don't want to say as I do, but if you follow the same kind of things that I followed for the first year, chances are you'll have a good time. Okay, so I hope that helps you guys. And if you want some guidance, if you want to get on the right track right away when it comes to self-publishing, you can see on the screen here, it says join publisher startup below. It is 100% free, 11-hour long publishing course. It's not just a teaser, it's a full-on course. It's going to walk you through how to publish your first book onto KDP. You can sign up below for that. And if you want to take things one step further and turn your KDP and ACX business from a side income to a full-time income where you can quit your job and be making full-time income per month or more, make sure you join the waitlist for Publisher Supremacy. It is the advanced program that's going to be coming out later on this month. By the time you're watching this, it might be out by now, and the link below might direct you straight to the page where you can sign up for the program. So if that interests you, make sure you join the program, and I'm excited to see some of you guys roll into there. Okay, so hope you enjoyed this video. This has been my first year self-publishing on Amazon and KDP. I know it was a longer one, but again, I think it deserves a longer video. There's lots of stuff to talk about. So if you like that, make sure you drop a like on the video, hit subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when I post new videos. And I guess this video is effectively over, and I will see you in next week's video. Peace.